The scream tore across the Kansas plains before the sun had even cleared the horizon. Horses jerked their heads, birds burst out of the tall grass, and even the wind seemed to hesitate. It wasn't the kind of scream that came from fear alone. It was the sound of someone who had never known real danger until this very breath. Lily Hart stumbled out of the dusty stagecoach stop, her skirt bunched in her fists, her face ghost pale. Her sharp breaths cut through the quiet morning. She looked nothing like a refined visitor from the soft towns of the East. She looked exactly like prey. Behind her, two riders thundered across the flats. Dust swirled around their racing horses. Rifles glinted in their hands. Their eyes burned with the satisfaction of a hunt. Lily had seen something she was never supposed to see, and now they meant to silence her before she could speak of it. She sprinted toward the only person in sight, a broad-shouldered cowboy tightening the cinch on his saddle. He looked up only when she collided with him, nearly knocking the breath from her own lungs. "They're coming," she gasped, the words barely holding together. Ethan Cole didn't ask who. He heard the hoofbeats. He knew the rhythm of pursuit. Without hesitation, he grabbed Lily by the waist and tossed her onto his horse. She shrieked, the sound sharp enough to make the animal flinch. "I've never been on a horse," she blurted. "Then you'd better hold on tight," Ethan said, swinging into the saddle behind her. The horse surged forward like a shot arrow. Wind slapped Lily's face, her stomach lurched, and her feet scrambled for something solid. She felt the world vanish beneath her, and for a moment, she was certain she was dying. But Ethan's strong arms locked around her, steadying her, keeping her upright as the plains blurred into gold. Gunshots cracked behind them. Sharp. Dry. Too close. Lily screamed again. Ethan leaned in, his voice a low rumble against her ear. "Don't look back. Look ahead. Always ahead." His chest pressed to her back. His breath grazed her neck. His hands tightened on the reins as the horse dodged a patch of brush. Fear twisted inside Lily, but something else stirred too, something unfamiliar, something dangerously close to trust. The gunshots thinned. The hoofbeats softened behind them. Morning sunlight spilled across the plains, turning the whole world warm and golden, almost peaceful. Lily barely had time to notice before the horse jolted sideways to avoid a washout. She slammed against Ethan's chest, yelping. He laughed softly, a rough, tired laugh that sounded like it had survived years of trouble. "You're doing just fine for someone who thought horses were monsters 5 minutes ago." She didn't get the chance to answer. The horse veered again, and she clutched the saddle horn, her heart pounding. Ethan's hand steadied her once more, firm but gentle. Safe. They tore past a broken fence, then a half-rotted windmill. Ethan pointed toward a lonely building in the distance, its faded sign swinging crooked in the breeze. "That's the old postal station," he said. "No one uses it anymore. We'll hide there till your legs stop shaking." She wanted to claim they weren't shaking, but the lie wouldn't come. Terror pulsed through her like wildfire. Yet somehow, wrapped in Ethan's arms, she felt safer than she had in years. The horse slowed. Ethan swung down and lifted her off. Their faces brushed close enough for her to see sunlight caught like amber in his eyes. Close enough for her heart to stutter. Inside the dusty station, she leaned against the wall, trying to steady her breath. Ethan checked the windows, then the door. Outside, the plains looked calm, too calm, like the land was pretending danger never existed. "Do you think they lost us?" she asked softly. Ethan let out a slow, weighted breath. "Men like that don't give up. Not when they think they can get something out of it. And Caleb Boone always wants something." The name hit Lily like cold water. She remembered the ledger at the stagecoach stop, the land deeds, the forged signatures, Caleb's mark at the bottom of every page. She never meant to see it. She had simply walked in at the wrong moment. Ethan checked his revolver. Caleb tried to buy my land last spring. When I said no, he said I'd regret it. Looks like he meant it. Before she could reply, faint hoofbeats drifted in through the window. Slow at first, then louder. Too close. Ethan nudged her behind the counter. Don't move. Don't make a sound. The hoofbeats stopped directly outside. 3 horses. Then voices, hard, confident, the kind belonging to men who believed the world owed them something. A hand jiggled the latch. The door cracked open. Leave it. The wagon will carry her. Take him alive. Caleb wants to finish this himself. Lily's heart collapsed in on itself. They weren't here for her. They wanted Ethan. The 3 men burst inside. Ethan rose like lightning, swung once, and cracked a fist against a jaw. But there were too many. They overwhelmed him, pinning him down. One ripped his revolver away. Another tied his wrists. A rough hand grabbed Lily. Caleb wants her alive. Put her on the wagon. She didn't fight, not yet. Not until the moment counted. They hauled her outside, tied her hands, and tossed her into the wagon like a sack of grain. Dust rose behind the wheels as the horses pulled forward, Ethan forced to walk behind them, stumbling under the brutal heat. Every stumble twisted something in her chest. She remembered Ethan's steady voice on horseback, lean with it. Don't fight it. If she ever needed courage, it was now. At the riverbank, the men relaxed. That was their mistake. The man who tied her had done it hastily, muttering they'd fix it later. Lily twisted her wrists slowly. One loop slipped. Another. The ropes loosened. A guard stepped toward her with a canteen. He turned his head for an instant. Lily lunged. She shoved him so hard he toppled backward in a cloud of dust. She grabbed the reins of the nearest horse and scrambled onto the saddle, nearly falling straight off the other side. The horse reared, panicked, then bolted. Lily clung to the horn with both hands, breath locked inside her chest. She wasn't steering. She wasn't riding. She was surviving. But the horse recognized the trail back to the postal station. And Lily let it take her home. Not away from danger. Back into it. Because Ethan needed her. When she reached the clearing, the men were preparing to take Ethan to town. One fired a warning shot that grazed Ethan's arm. Blood streaked down his sleeve. If she had arrived a minute later, that bullet might have been meant for his heart. The horse skidded to a stop. Lily jumped down before it fully halted. Shock flashed across the men's faces. No one expected the girl from the east to come charging back into danger. Lily acted before fear could catch her. She scooped a handful of dirt and flung it into the nearest man's eyes. He staggered, blinded. Ethan rammed his shoulder into the second attacker, knocking him into the dust. The third swung wildly, but Ethan crashed into him with a desperate strength, driving them both backward. Lily grabbed a fallen rope and yanked it around their legs, tripping them. They slammed into the dirt, groaning. Ethan tore the loosened knot from his wrists. For a heartbeat, he and Lily stood frozen, breathless, shaking, alive. "You came back for me," he said quietly. "I wasn't going to leave you," she whispered. "Not after everything you did for me." Something shifted in his eyes, something warm, something she didn't know how to name. Together they rode to Dodge City. The sheriff took Caleb Boone and his men into custody. The ledger Lily found carried every lie Caleb had built his empire on. It was enough to bring all of them down. Ethan's land was safe. And Lily had earned a place in a world she once feared. That evening, as golden light slipped behind the rooftops, Ethan touched her hand gently. "Sometimes life throws you into fire so you remember what you're capable of," he said. "And sometimes it sends you the right person at the exact right time." Lily smiled softly. One terrible morning had shown her the worst fear she'd ever felt, and the greatest courage she didn't know she had.